Welcome to the Pink Riot Comic Show, where two black women talk all things comics, movies, and pop culture by black and brown folks. Hey, how you doing? My name is Keisha, aka Hot Havoc, and we are here with my amazingly talented, brilliant co-host Bree. How you doing, love?
I'm doing well. All super excited because we got our favorite Unk in the building today.
Yeah. John Jennings is here.
Y'all are hilarious. I don't know what to do with that. Our favorite Unk.
Take it as a compliment.
I know I take it as a compliment. It's just I've never been referred to as that. So I appreciate you, Anyway. But yeah, thank you for having me. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here. So thank you.
I mean, we always tell you this, but you are the reason, like a big reason why Pink Riot exists. And like just understanding that we will always have this door open for you and everything that y'all create.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yes. Okay, so we have had you on the show before. It was a pleasure. We were chatting a parable of the talents.
Yes.
And we
Which won an NAACP award.
Like,
yep. I'm still like in shock about that. I'm like, what? Anyway, yeah.
Like, I mean, how before we even get into the rest of it, how does that feel, like being able to add that sort of like notch to your belt?
It's a really great feeling. I mean, well, it's funny because we're talking about Megascope, right, a little bit. So if you don't realize, like, how that particular award, or one of the reasons why that award exists, is because of Megascope, actually. And so it was. So The Keeper a couple of years ago was nominated for like best literary book, in general. And so from what I understand, the judges were like, wait a minute, this is a very different type of storytelling. We should have a graphic novel category. And that's where the category came from. Well, to a certain degree, I think it already been rumbling around before I understand, like, being the Keeper that they deemed like was such a good book that they needed to start to really think about storytelling in that different medium, and yeah, I was totally gobsmacked that we won. We were up against some like really, really great books. And yeah, it's probably the biggest award I think we've won for the work, right? And because it's, the Eisners are amazing, the Hugo Award is amazing, but they're very niche too. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
Yeah, so but as far as like your mama knowing what that award is, or your grandmama knowing what an image award, it's, you're telling folk like most popular culture is niche. We obsess about it so much, but really there's no such thing as like mainstream anything. Like not too much. You have these cultures that are very so to get like something like the NAACP Image Award is, wow, it's a massive honor. And especially something that I love to do so much, and especially for a book that's really near and dear to my heart, because part of what me and Damien and David Brame now been doing is like trying to edify Octavia Butler's work and make sure that people understand like how important that sci-fi diva was to us and still is to us. So thank you for that.
She was a diva.
Yeah, I mean, she probably wouldn't refer to herself as that, but I'm like, yo, she's a godmother of a lot of the work that we've been doing.
Yeah.
As an aside, me and Stacey as Black Kirby, we're getting ready to do a Octavia Butler's themed art show here in Riverside next year for her, which would have been her 80th birthday. So, yeah, so we're in planning stages now. It's going to be at the Culver Center in Riverside. So, because Black Kirby is kind of like artist in residence at the Culver Center. We have done a number of shows, like the one we did around Dino Woman and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna shut up.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool. No, never. That's gonna be so cool, right?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna open it up to other artists, and sometimes we have like guest artists and stuff, and I think we're probably gonna do that for this one too, because people love her and her work so much. So
yes, she's influenced, like you said, she's influenced so much.
I mean, like world changing. I just remember the first time I saw the cover for Wild Seed and was like, "What is this book, and why am I about to buy this?" You know what I'm saying?
Why is it snatching the money out of my pocket?
Yeah, buy this book right now. you know,
Oh,
blow
man.
me, it
That's
blew me
how I
away. I
felt.
think
No, go
Yeah, we're
ahead.
definitely Octavia
no, I said
stands.
it blew me away.
Sorry, we over here speaking all over each
Yeah.
other.
No,
Oh,
because I stopped talking. I was like, okay, somebody going.
you start talking about Octavia Butler, and obviously we're both gonna geek a little bit, so
Well, of
that makes a
course.
whole lot of
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
No, like you better.
Like, you better. No, but
You better. You
that's
better. You
awesome that
better.
you're doing that. Yeah, that's definitely something that Pink Riot would love to pull up to. So we'll definitely like have
Oh
to
yeah,
stay tapped in with
please,
you.
man. I'll as soon as I think we need to figure out the dates and stuff, but it's gonna be at the Culver Center. Stacey Robinson and I are the lead artists on it, and yeah, we're gonna do some really cool like conceptual art around her work, you know. But also the other thing we want to do is maybe do some images of particularly women of color who are inspired by her. So expect portraits of like Tananarive Due, Nydia Okorafor, Nalo Hopkinson, you know, that kind of stuff
Ooh,
too. Yeah,
Yes.
wait.
we want to what yeah.
Oh my
What?
gosh. You have to grab like so many other black women artists who like
Oh, man.
to do
We're gonna
their
try to do
versions
our
of
best. I mean,
this.
yeah, if you have folk that you think we should reach out to, let us know. You know, because I think I just had a conversation with Stacey about it a week and a half ago, and you know, for most of the shows, we have had other contemporary artists contribute, you know, to the black because you know one of our themes is like Black Kirby is a posse, you know.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Oh my gosh. I immediately thought we got to nominate Juliet Neca for this because her art is just so like otherworldly, ethereal. I know her translation for like a wild seed situation would go crazy. Like,
That's
send
true.
me names. Yeah, seriously, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, because you don't
yes.
have enough to do.
Yeah, sure. But no,
No, I'm
like
saying just you
that's
know,
something we get behind, like rallying the
yeah,
troops for something that cool. That sounds amazing. This is
yeah.
why we
No,
always love having you on the show and chatting with you because you're always doing so many cool different things at the same damn time. It's wild.
we're only here for a blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? So
Period.
I'm trying to do as much as I can. You know, and you know, she's not with us in this plane, but she's changed my life, you know, and she's changed my life for the better, you know.
Yeah.
Same. Wholeheartedly agree. Um, well, let's talk about a different author that has like I feel like I mean he has changed. It's the reason why we have the Megascope comic name in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
and his name has been brought up lately with the new documentary that's out, W.E.B. Du Bois.
Hmm.
Um, for those who are listening for the first time and have never heard this, the Megascope title, Megascope imprint is based off of The Princess Steel, which is a short story that was found um in what 2015.
I think 2015. Yep.
Like that's crazy. So like just tell everybody like how you came to have the name Megascope as
Yeah.
the imprint.
So the first thing is, you know, Ronaldo Anderson and I were curating a show at the Schomburg. Um, it's called Unveiling Visions: The Alchemy of the Black Imagination, and it was looking at like um different graphic representations of Black speculative culture across the board. You know, that included like dark, you know, fantasy, horror, science fiction. But we were
Mhm.
focusing a lot on like graphic design and like graphic representation, you know what I'm saying? And from of these literary forms. And one of the sections that we were looking at was what I call what has been called like diegetic prototypes. And that is like objects that are inside of stories that are in there not to necessarily be reproduced in some way, but to have a conversation. So they're diegetic in some way that they're speaking to you, you know. So for
Oh.
instance, like Octavia Butler's dream masks are an example, or her story cubes, right? These are
Mhm.
different, or you know, and so we'll look at stuff like the Black No More chair from George Schuyler's work, right? Or we'll look at, say, Mary
Yeah.
Baraka's work with the Mchawi shoes that allow you to fly, that kind of stuff. So because here's the thing, so I started looking at the fact that in traditional science fiction, you would have these things, right? And I was like, well,
Mhm.
black sci-fi and fantasy gotta have them, right? You know, like the Afro horn from Henry Dumas's short story, May the Circle Be Unbroken, or the Ark of Bones, right, from Ark of Bones. um, and
I'm trying to
lo and
write these
behold,
down as fast as possible.
oh, don't worry, if you a whole talk or just on this, because I knew, like, once I discovered that this and the idea of diegetic prototypes comes from, like, graphic like, from, like, design fiction studies and stuff, so it's like a design term. So, what happened was, like, in the middle of curating this show, two women, scholars, they, discovered this unpublished story called The Princess Steel while we are putting the show together. And the original name of the story was The Megascope, right? And inside of it, Du Bois, who's, as you know, is like groundbreaking sociologist, is also, like, one of the key figures in the Harlem Renaissance, had already written science fiction. We knew that he wrote the Comet in, like, the 1920s, and we also knew that he had written this story called Jesus Christ in Texas. We know this because of Sherry Renee Thomas's work on Dark Matter, another seminal figure in our understanding of, like, speculative fiction by Black people is Sherry Renee Thomas. So shout out to Sherry. So what happened was, they found the story, and it's a science fiction story about this couple that actually goes to see this, like, exhibition of this thing called a Megascope, which essentially is like an interdimensional Oculus Rift to a certain degree. I mean, so it can see through time and space, it can see in other dimensions, and it changes according to who's looking through it, right? And so
Mm,
the boys use this as a metaphor to actually do a critique of the U.S. steel industry, and he didn't even publish it. It was like he just kind of did it as a. I was like, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You actually okay, you for real brilliant. So he just kind of did it as an exercise. This is in his papers, and this was written in, like, either 1905, 1909. He was probably still in Atlanta when he did this, and this was before he takes the job. When he moves up to New York and stuff to work with the crisis and work with, with the NAACP and stuff. And I'm like, wow. And so when we got opportunity to pitch this idea of doing an imprint with Abrams, we thought Megascope would be a great name for it, and they loved it. They loved it from the get go. They love the story behind
cool.
it. And the idea is, like, uncovering things that we don't know about, that Black people and brown folk and people from various backgrounds have done, And so our focus is speculative fiction, buying about people of color. We're looking at, like, historical fiction as well, which is why we have stuff like the Emmett Till
Like
book and also, like,
Queenie and
Queenie, exactly. And we're looking at, like, I'm a big fan of, like, crime fiction too. So we have Queenie also falls into, like, the crime fiction space. We have a new
yeah.
book called The Heavy. This is about to come out soon. So yeah. So we're, trying to do our thing. So but that's how it started. And now 5 years later, here we are. Still trying to find our audience, I have to say, but I think we're getting
Ooh.
there. So yeah.
Yo, let's talk about audience because I feel
Mhm.
like you have the audience. We're there. Because I was going through the title list, right? And I'm realizing just like how strong of the connection Megascope has to short stories and prose in general. Like the
Mhm.
fact that the imprint itself is named after a short story. Like you have so many adaptations. Like you do like fantastic work with adaptations. Like you also have like the Red Dirt Witch that's coming out next
That's
year and
right.
all of that.
That's right.
Like I personally feel like your audience is like me and Brie, like people who sit in like both spaces
Yeah.
of like books and comics and
Yeah.
like are willing to like see the experiment and the diversity of it for what it really is. So like I'm just saying y'all need to like curate your folks in Bookstagram and Book Talk and all of that stuff. I think it would do phenomenally well there.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
really the
Yeah.
pocket that we've used so many Megascope titles as like the gateway for people who are already interested in like the bookish space, but maybe
Mhm.
haven't dipped their toe into comics. It's
Mhm.
like a beautifully like seamless transition into
it
that world for a lot of them. And then it's like the gateway drug that that gets them into all the other comics. So yeah, knowing your
I mean,
audience is key, and I think he should hit the nail on the head with that.
Well, thank you. I mean, tell the others, you know what I'm saying? As they say, go tell the others, the
This is
stable
true.
boys, because cutting through the a lot of the information out there, like people, the different algorithms and stuff. I know for a fact that we're making beautiful books. I know that
Yeah,
we're making books that
Yes.
matter.
let's get that
We're making
clear.
books that are that are literate, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, as you know, I mean, the mainstream, if you want to call it that, comics industry is still dominated a lot by superheroes, which I love. I love superheroes, and I love these types of books. But a lot of people don't realize you have the direct market and you have like the trade press space, and so these books that we're creating are made for like the traditional publishing space,
Mhm.
and some of the things that's happened is that we're trying to figure out, as like one of the main distributors for the direct market, crashed and
Yeah,
burned, right?
Diamond.
Devil's Diamond, right?
Mhm.
So we've had some other ones take up the slack, and
We're still
the other
seeing the
thing,
fallout from that, though.
yeah, I don't even, yeah, it's still like crashing. It's like a slow death.
Very
Um,
much.
and we're when I was trying to, I was trying to make something that was um that really aligns itself with how strange and beautiful comics are, as a medium.
Yes.
So that's why you get something like the Eightfold Path, you know, or like After the Rain, wicked and crazy and beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so my two main influence, well, several, because I feel like Milestone Media, is a huge influence on me just for what they were trying to do with just mainstream comics.
Yeah.
One of
Mhm.
my heroines, heroes, sheroes is Karen Berger,
Mm.
who changed the world with Vertigo comics, right? So she and her background is like literature, like she has a literary background, but she also has a big love of horror. She's a fantastic editor, and I count her as a friend, which is so tripped out to me. I was like, I mean, she's amazing. And so like a really huge influence on me was Vertigo. Another one is I'm a big hip hop head, right? And so I look at
Yeah.
something like Stone's Throw or like Def Jam as like a label. 'Cause
Mm.
people ask me what's an imprint. I say, okay, you know what a label is? So imagine like
Yeah, I
an
like that.
imprint label. Yeah, because they don't understand what it is. It's like, okay, you know what a label is, though, for a record label. Okay, same thing. With like a boutique experience, we have a particular niche crowd that we're trying to speak to, but our books are unique. I try to create things that are definitely trying to sell well, but also to kind of show like the breadth of experience, of what comics can be through a particular lens. Because another thing is that we look at like the creations of people of color, and that doesn't necessarily say all of them have to be by people of color, but we are the subject, at the center of the story. Anyway, I'm gonna stop
Thank you,
talking.
Linda.
Oh, stop doing
No,
that.
no.
No,
So,
it's
yeah,
it. I will pontificate. I'm a professor, so I'd be like talking too damn much.
we love it. No, it's never too much. You're always dropping gems. But that kind of leads to another question that I had for you. Like, you're obviously you spoke to, what you're trying to represent with the stories that you're bringing to Megascope. But how are
Yeah.
you, what is that like curation process like for you, like in terms of selecting and what does that look like when you're looking at what the evolution or the trajectory of Megascope is now that you've hit this 5-year mark?
That's a great question. So when I first submitted, the white paper, so to speak, and then the presentation of what I wanted Megascope to be, I was already looking at stuff like working with Nnedi Okorafor, working with Nalo Hopkinson, working with Tanana Reevdu and Stephen Barnes. Those people were already like my pie in the sky stuff, like working with Victor Laval, which is happening too, by the way, stuff like that.
Yes.
Working with Daniel Jose Older, which is also happening. So it's
Oh, yes.
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to look at like the crew, like looking at the people that I knew were doing these amazing books, and but have never actually gotten a chance to stretch their wings to do something big like this and actually like be seen on an international scale. Because Abrams, if anybody, they're the first art book publisher in the country, right? They were started in the late '40s by Harry and Abrams. They started doing popular culture work like in the 80s with like the big Disney book, but they do a lot of like cookbooks and like,
Yeah,
photo
the
books
books
and
are beautiful.
beautiful. Exactly. They're like gorgeous. Their
Art
tagline
for
is the
like
art of
movies
books.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Stunning.
it's like our
Yeah,
friend Sean Taylor said, like Abrams' book is like carrying a gallery around in a book.
Literally.
He's
yeah.
he's he's really correct. So their production is very high, and you don't get a chance to see like our peers and the stuff that we love, the people that we love, seen in such a beautiful light.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, these books are gorgeous. Like you take off the covers, and it's a whole nother story. A book is like
Not
a
an
person.
ugly naked
Yeah,
Megascope.
Yeah,
not at all. I only
yeah,
keep these dust jackets on because they came with the book. Truly,
right.
like
I'm looking.
you can just. This is one of
Yeah,
my Devour has one of my favorite designs on a hardcover book. I actually
yeah,
get very disappointed when I look at other books, and
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh wow.
How basic.
yeah, I'm
How
like, how
crazy.
basic.
Right. But we know what's funny is that we're probably gonna have to move away from doing as many dust jackets because it's so expensive. We're trying to so one of the things we're looking at is like, okay, with something like I wanted to push the boundaries and say, okay, can we create something that's really strange and out there, like say the Eightfold Path, which is by like two legendary writers, Charles Johnson and Stephen Barnes, who grew up
Yes.
reading EC comics, right? But very interested in Buddhism, right? But also interested in stuff like, the Illustrated Man, you know, and these
Mhm.
types of like anthologies. So you smushed all this together and you see what you get. But then you also have this really indie, like timeless style. Like Brian Christopher Moss has a style that's actually like kind of timeless, because it's so quirky that it could be from any time.
Yeah.
And I love that book and it turned out great. And it's just strange, but did it find its market? I'm not really sure. So you
That
have to
was
look
one
at.
of the weirdest books to try to describe to people what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But it was
It's like
awesome. It was just like, oh, now that you're saying it, yeah.
it's like horror stories that make you want to be a Buddhist. I'm like, what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's I love the book though,
Yeah.
and but did it find its audience? I don't know. I mean, in all of our books, none of our books have really like taken off as much as we want them to, and that's for different reasons, for different
Yeah.
seasons. We didn't have a marketing person for a long time, stuff like that. We
I
we,
was
we went through
gonna
like different.
say that.
We've had several editors. We actually have like a lot of turn with publishers. So these are just part of the thing, and so I feel like we're always trying to catch up on things, right? And now, of
Yeah.
course, we're in this anti DEI, like anti diversity, anti anything that's not straight white man, kind of mode right now. So
Mm.
some people are going to buy them because they push back against that. Because people don't real. I mean, the politics of the time affects popular culture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and you can deny that if you want to, but um, it's
it does.
obviously there's a lot of pushback on stuff that we're doing at this moment. So the fact that Abrams is still letting us do these books and actually like trying to strategize and figure out different things, which they are. Joseph Montagna, who is our new publisher, who is also a vice president of the company, um, has given us space to kind of try to right the ship, so to speak. And I really appreciate that. And we do have a
That's
marketing director
amazing.
now, and Jack Cohen, who has worked in comics for like 15, 16, 23 years, worked and Lydia Nguyen has been a fantastic asset to us. And of course, Charlie Kochman, who created Abrams Comic Arts, is my friend and mentor and someone who really believes in what we're trying to do with the line. So I rocks with them because they rock with us. And it seems like they're very serious about making books that actually matter to the world. If you look at their other books, like the book on Black history that they just put out, I was like, they're still putting out gems,
They
that
are.
are teaching folk. There's this Black Panther photography book that they did ages ago, stuff like that. Anyway,
Mhm.
not the character, the movement. I'm sorry, the party.
Mhm. No, I
So
think
yeah, go
Yeah. So
ahead.
it sounds like
no.
there's like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I think it's fantastic that they're giving you the space to do this, especially in a big publishing, company, because we don't see that too often. That's something that a lot of imprints, a lot of titles are like really fighting for like the space to like, let me find this audience. It's out there. We know it. We just have to like, figure this
You
out.
you gotta build the audience. I mean, as you probably know, I mean, like, there's adult comics in this space in America is not really a thing. You know, it's they're hit or miss. You know, did the book that won the Pulitzer last year for like best memoir? I think it's called Feeding Ghosts. I think it's the name of it. How did it sell?
Mm,
Did it sell really well? You know, I don't know. You know,
yeah.
what's the numbers on that? But it won a Pulitzer Prize. You know what I'm saying? So there's different metrics. At the end of the day, this is a business, you know, and we got to move books, but also we want to move. I always tell Abrams, I want to make profits, but I also want to make profits, you know. So
Yeah.
so
I like
Come
that.
on, boys. Come on,
of
boys.
course, yeah,
Boys.
yeah.
But
So you
no,
know, because because at the because having someone like myself, I'm a multi hyphenate creator, right? So because I'm a professor of, and I have a background in graphic design with book design, logo design, branding design. You know, I'm pretty adept at the history of design itself, you know, and design methodology, but also a comic scholar. And I particularly look at like science fiction, fantasy, horror representation in different media, you know, across the board, you know.
Mhm,
And so I've become a pretty over the last 6 years. So it's funny, like, so at the beginning of my tenure as an editor and as a curator, or as a curator in particular, I've changed. I've learned so much about the business. You know, I know
mhm,
I've worked with so many storytellers, and I think, you know, have become a pretty decent editor and thinker around stories. I'm a better writer, I'm a better like, you know, scholar around comics and historian. And I had to step up because of having this responsibility, you know. So yeah, I think we're looking at recalibrating a few things. We got some really interesting books in the pike right now. I am so excited to get started on this Victor Laval adaptation. I'm actually writing and illustrating actually a short story adaptation of the book. I mean, sorry, the short story is called Up from Slavery, but it's like it's
mhm.
kind of like Battle of Black Tom, where it's like a remix of H.P. Lovecraft story. It actually adds on to like it's almost like the sequel to at the Mountains of Madness, you know.
I love The Ballad of Black Tom,
I
and
did too.
actually
You know, man, listen, don't get me started. I was angry. I was like, this is so good, you
it
know.
is.
So that's the thing, but also like so the book is gonna be called Dust because the main character's name is Simon Dust. So
okay.
it's a great story, and I'm like, I can't wait to just sink my teeth into it. And the fact that he like trusts us to do it, I was like, yeah. So, you know, but also, you know, Natasha Womack and Tanner Tucker have been, you know, putting together this, I would
Black
call it
Cube.
like Black Cube. Yeah, it's this, I can't even explain it. It's almost like when I read the script, I asked Yatasha, I was like, okay, so what like either like ancestor or or progeny either came from the future or came from the past, or maybe they both did and possessed you to write this. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, where did you get this from? Because it's
No, but the way she writes is brilliant. Like, the
yeah,
Prototopias one that she just did with,
yeah.
Aletha Martinez,
Lisa Martinez, yeah.
had to read it twice. I was like, "What is this woman talking about?" This is magnificent. I It's something about her reading, her writing that I don't know, I was like, "This is where I need to be in Afrofuturism."
I
Like,
know what so here's the thing. So you know she's a dancer, right?
mhm,
She writes like a dancer.
that makes sense.
That's what it is. Once I
That
read it, I
makes
was like, "Oh, I get this." It's a choreographed thing. It's like it's a motive, it's poetic. The other thing people forget that she's a journalist too. Like, so she has a journalism background, so she's super observant, and she writes from that space. Yeah, it's very intuitive as well, you know. And she's a great
mm,
collaborator, you know. I've been very blessed with like great, for the most part, like great collaborators. Because when you publish somebody, it's a collaboration. You know what I'm saying? And there's been, you
mhm.
know, there's been stuff ups and downs, but I think over the past like 5 or 6 years that we've actually like been able to pull together some really wonderful experiences, you know. So
Yeah,
we're making some adjustments. I mean, we're now about to put out our 11th book, which is the Framing Emmett Till book, which I'm extremely excited about. Yeah, and
which is if you haven't, please go pre-order it now. It's a fantastic but I remember when you sent it over and I read it and
mhm,
I was like, "Yo, this" the energy I get from this, you would think, "Oh my god, you" I remember you telling me like, "Oh, you need to mentally prepare yourself for how heavy it is," and I'm like, "Dude, this is not as heavy as you think it is." Like, the
mhm,
writer took such good care of the story, of the people around it. You get nothing but love, and it very much reminded me of, um, Big Jim and the White Boy.
mhm.
Like, and how
That's a high compliment. Yeah.
yeah, like, and how it balanced everything, like the past, the present, and, the story of this mother and son and, their love.
Mhm.
I I don't think oh my goodness, that is a magnificent graphic novel,
Thank you.
and
I mean, I'm really proud of what they did. The creative team is they should be really proud, you know. I love the coloring team, like, came through. I think it's a gorgeous book. Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna get a chance to launch it in Mississippi, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, at the Mississippi Book Fair. Yeah, because it looks like the books will be in like mid-September. So yeah, it looks like we're on track to actually have them in Mississippi talking about, and the three of us talking about the book at the Mississippi Book Festival in September. So yep.
oh, that is gonna be special. I
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
hope I hope y'all record that and put that everywhere.
I
Like
hope I hope they do it too. I mean, I don't know. It's hard doing this, and I've been trying to get out the way and not put my hands all over the everything with Abrams and trust them to do their gig. Some stuff sometimes it's probably a little too light, but and they're a smaller, like they're a big mid-sized company. Like their output is insane, but there's only like a handful of folk doing this work, and they work like dogs to put this work out.
Mhm.
It's insane, like the type of dedication they have to the work. So um it's these books are hard to make. Comics are a brutal medium, and they're unforgiving medium. Um and I don't know why we make them.
I was about to ask them, why do you stay? What keeps you
There's
going?
something missed. I mean, like once you get comics in your blood, they got you, man. It's like Jack Kirby said, like comics will break your heart, kid. But it's just like you go back to them because there's something special about like sitting at that table and making them. And I try to like escape them. I mean, I still want to do like illustrated fiction and stuff like that, and more like kids like books and stuff like that. But you know, I can't stop making the comics. And I've tried. I really have. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do something else. Like, no. So it's in my blood.
Yeah, you're like, "Ain't no getting rid of it now."
And no getting
Wait,
rid of it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, here we are. So we're gonna. So at my young age of 55, I gotta realize that I have a whole career that I need to continue working on. And it's a blessing. And one of my favorite things is actually like um, taking a story that would have not seen the light of day, that other people kind of denied, you know, and or something, or taking a story that someone always wanted to see, and put it out, like The Keeper, for instance, which I think one of our best books, by Tananarive and Stephen Barnes.
yeah.
It started off as a movie script. Well, no, that's not true. It started off as
Mm.
a short story. It became a movie script. They sent me the treatment for it. I was like, "Yo, this is really good. Please, keep me informed about it." From what I understand, they had some deals lined up, with some larger. It was optioned, I think, by even Monkey Paw at one particular point,
Hmm.
and
Mm.
it didn't come to fruition. And so I was like, well, let's try to pitch it as a graphic novel. And we've got like the great Marco Finnegan, who is a very talented illustrator and storyboard artist, to come on as our illustrator. Killed it. Just beautiful. It's so restrained, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of like acting. It feels like a play. It has these different aspects to it. And like I said, it was nominated for an NAACP award, and then they got funded to actually make a short film about it. So actually, from this Japanese investor, and so they're making a 22-minute. They've made a 22-minute short film based on the Keeper. Actually, hopefully,
Oh,
Nice.
that's dope.
yeah, I'm hoping that it gets on the circuit, or maybe gets up on YouTube, on those short horror film joints. But it's nicely done, and Steven and Tonelli directed it. Actually, yeah.
Yo, that is one of the hardest working couples in
They are awesome. I love them so much, and it's such an honor to be their friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to do a portrait of them for a cover, actually. Together. So yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
love
There's
that.
this book. Yeah, Sherry Renee Thomas guest edited this book, this magazine called Tar Baby, which is
Yes.
put together by Ishmael Reed,
Ishmael Reed, yes.
and also I think Toni Morrison's son is involved as well. And
Mhm.
this upcoming issue is dealing with Afrofuturism and speculative fiction, and oh my goodness, it's going to be it's a cavalcade of wonderful pieces. I got a bunch of art in there, and then they just tapped me to do the cover, and they have a in-depth interview with Stephen and Tenerife, so on collaboration. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a historic book. Get your hands on it. So
Period.
Oh, I'm about
yeah.
to get it right now.
I love
Yeah.
how the squad stays like so together because I feel like part of this you've spoken to like influences and all of the ways that outside things are sort of affecting the trajectory of Megascope and the type of titles that you're selecting and all of that. But you've low key been collecting like speculative fiction icons like Infinity Stones. So like
Yes,
who
that's exactly right.
Yes. So exactly, you're holding the gauntlet for sure. So like what are some things that you're hoping to like expand Megascope to in the future, like moving forward, like the next 5 years? What's something you want to be able to say that you've accomplished with Megascope?
I want to do some. We're working on some collaborative things I can't really talk about now. That have been in
Okay,
the works for a while.
period.
Yeah, so working with other arenas like film and television, is something that we've been kind of tinkering around with
Mhm.
for the last few years, actually. So that's some things that we're kind of looking at. I want to I want to actually do some more experimental stuff around like how we tell our history, um,
Mm.
because now since our history is under fire by the powers that be, so
Yeah.
to me like the Emmett Till book is an Afrofuturist book because it's protecting the past, and so you can't move forward without knowing where you're coming from, and so these particular these values are something I want to see. So I never wanted our imprint to be the black trauma imprint, or like
Yeah.
the black sadness imprint, but you know you can't take our sadness either. You know what I'm saying? You can't what I'm saying, like we make a decision about what those things are. So I want to actually do more work around looking at history, and also autobiographical books or biographical books as well.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah, that's but also with that spin. So I've been thinking about this idea of twistery, history with a twist,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, thinking about okay, well, how do we see this? Because so many people don't, America in general is really bad at remembering its history. So I
Very
mean,
true.
let's be real about it. Like we can come to grips with these things.
Yeah.
So we have a book about the Tulsa Race Massacre. I don't want necessarily want to have to make those types of books, but we are so good at covering up things that have happened in our country, and
Yeah.
also decentering necessary voices, and kind of taking away these amazing things they've done in our history. So those are things I want to continue doing. I want to make more inroads with educational spaces, both on the traditional institutional level, but also like homeschooling and things of that nature too. You know,
Yes.
So yeah, these are things I
Um,
want to also look at as well because these books are very teachable, and we're creating educational materials for them. We have top scholars. I mean, look at someone like Hard Ears, right? Like a wonderful Kathy Thomas knocked out. I mean, she did this amazing, essay in the back, right? So for the book,
yes.
yeah, and that's the thing
Oh,
is having having my hands in the educational space. The other thing too is like we have, as you know, Keisha, we have a board of, so I want to tap into what folk on the board want to do, or maybe get them more involved, which I'm in the middle of trying to do. So I think for me, it's like I really want folk to think about Megascope as an imprint that has their best interest at heart, but we also want to have fun, but we also want to like push the envelope as far as like what kinds of books we're doing. So and
Absolutely.
normalize books. I mean, my vision really is like I wish that we didn't have to have imprints like this. You
Yeah.
know, that's at the end of the
Very
day.
true.
But certain people's stores get privileged more than others. They just do. And we can say it's because they don't sell, but it's not. It's not the truth.
That's not the
You don't.
truth.
You have to actually you have to build the infrastructure. And it takes a while. It takes a while. I think it's going to probably take us another 5 years to really like solidify these types of things. I'm willing to fight if you guys are. But we have to
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
we have to create the
'Cause
space.
I mean, for real, there hasn't been a title I haven't loved. Like, and I know you say you love Eightfold Path and everything, but like one of my favorites, like absolute favorite, well, two. After the Rain was one of them. It was my first introduction to Megascope,
Mhm.
and I think horror in general. It was like the first time where I was like, oh, I can do horror in comics. This
This is
is
a horror
fun.
story, exactly. This is yeah.
This is like I can do this. This is brilliantly drawn. This is told well. This is it. And like so yeah, that I fell in love with horror and comics with After the Rain. But for real, my favorite is Black Star. And
I
I
knew you were gonna
talk
say
about
Black Star, which was one I didn't choose. I didn't choose Black Star.
really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man. Okay. What's
So
the
what
story
happened was
behind
I was working
it?
with our editor at the time, Charlotte, and she is friends with Eric, the writer, and so she
Mhm.
proposed it, and I was like, it started off as it's one of those books that was a screenplay, you know, and
Mhm.
yeah, and so yeah, so you can tell, so he's a screenwriter. He actually worked on, I think he's worked on a couple of shows since then, including the new Star Trek show, for instance, and
Oh, dope.
yeah, yeah. People, I was like, y'all need to celebrate that more. I mean, I think the show's been canceled now, but he was working in the writer's room on it. So, yeah, but yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book, and we're pretty lucky to have it. Ooh, yeah. So
Yeah. Um, Another book is that I was surprised because I'm typically not someone who reads like crime fiction or historical fiction without, some speculative aspect to
yeah,
it. So Queenie,
yeah,
like Queenie, like really blew my mind.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And that was a buy-in book. That book was first published in France. So we have several buy-ins. Yeah, so it was first published in France in English. Um, the creative team bodied it. The artist, Elizabeth Colombo, she is also from Martinique originally. She grew up in Paris, and lives in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So she was like the perfect illustrator for the book. I remember when I first read the first 28 pages of it, I was like, what the rest that? Yeah, so how we like can I get the rest of this book? Where is it? It was a
yeah,
no-brainer, man. And
yeah.
it did. That was the first of our titles that was actually nominated for an Image Award with the newly, they were nominated for an Image Award. So that was like, man, beautiful.
You
Oh,
know
I
what else
agree.
feels like a no-brainer for you guys to collab with? Mass Appeal. Because they're doing so much like with Nas and like some other hip hop people. Like I feel like that
Yeah,
would be the music collab
maybe
opportunities.
maybe with our next, we know we have a hip hop horror book that's in the queue right now. We're waiting on the first script. It's by this gentleman named Johnny Christmas. So yeah, because the goat is essentially the way he pitched it. It was like "Get Rich or Die Trying" meets The Witch, and I was
Oh,
like, "Hmm, yes, say
Period.
less, say less. Where's the contract?" You know, because Johnny writes
oh,
great horror. I don't know if you read his scary stuff. It's like that story he wrote for the Silver Coin was off the rails. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I gotta
And
look at
he's not
that.
drawing it. This brother, Olivier is drawing it, but, they're out of, both of them are out of Canada. It's set in the '90s, and it has this whole, like, battling, like, record label crew kinda thing jumping off, and then there's a devil. The devil's involved. So it's like yeah, it's so good. I was like, "Man," I loved our first meeting. We should have a first script in for it pretty soon. I think he said maybe like I think next month. So I know, right?
Bree is like,
Oh, you know,
Bree
I love
loves Johnny
that.
Christmas.
I'm obsessed. Wow, I can't wait for that. Another one that I felt like would be like an obvious thing, Faya Litmag has like
Ye-
decided to,
Go on
stop
hiatus.
Yeah, no, that
production.
hurt. That hurt to see.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
seemed like a really like I don't know, have you thought about maybe like a Megascope anthology approach with some of those type of stories,
it would
like
be kind of wonderful. Anthologies don't do well in the trade press. They
mm,
don't do well, and
It's
so
true.
they're hit or miss. And so I've thought about that from different standpoints. We'll maybe we'll see. That's the thing. I love anthologies personally, but on the economic tip, people tend to buy just single stories. I want to do shorter stories, and I want to do stories that are like more literate and strange in their own, and try to find these audiences that will pick them up, because they're cool. So that's another thing, like picking up the youth market a little bit more, dialing into like the anime and manga market a little bit more people, but something that's not something
Mm.
because Abrams does have a manga imprint. It's called Kana. So
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, and they do great work. So I don't want to like try to replicate what they're doing, but you know, manga and anime stories are like really fused into our culture. I would love to do
Yeah.
hybrid fiction books as well. But I don't know. We need to stabilize first.
That's fair.
We need to
Well,
stabilize the books. The Emmett Till book. I implore people to check it out and to pre-order the
yes,
book. It will help us immensely. The more pre-orders we can get, the better. Um,
Yes.
I think that we have in this moment we have a wonderful opportunity to get the word out about this book, but also to remember what has happened historically with that particular event. As you know, this would have been his 85th birthday in July. He would have been 85. There's different exhibitions and shows and talks happening around this, especially now, where our very democracy and way of life in America and everything around our history has been like just devastated in some ways by this administration. So, you know, um, art is a fist. Let's raise them. So
yes.
that's how I feel about it.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
love that. I love that. I will say, like, the choice to like spread out and branch out in the interest of like grabbing other like markets of people to kind of engage with the content, I think is a great way to branch out. I was stoked when I seen the NK short story coming to graphic translation, and I was like,
I love
wow,
that story so much.
I'm obsessed. It like
Yes.
some there's only a few authors who I like really mess with their short stories like heavily. NK is one of them, Nalo is one of them.
Nalo, yeah.
P.
Mhm.
Jelly Clark is one of them. You should
Jelly,
definitely
yeah, yeah, yeah,
love
yeah,
that collab
yeah.
coming. How do you go about selecting like which short story from? Because like you have somebody like NK
That was
who has
another
short
question of mine.
stories for days. So, and
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like when her body of work in terms of short stories comes to mind, there's so many that kind of stick out. So how are you narrowing that down?
So here's the thing. So let me tell you, like one of the things, and that's a great question. I look to the board. My board is full of like brilliant scholars. Like the sister that adapted the book is, read the original into a book is Dr. Kenitra Brooks. and
Mm.
she is so like my sister, she's a wondrous writer and theorist around like Black women and conjure culture. She's the one that say, "Hey, here's a couple of books of NK, couple of stories of NKs that I would love to see as graphic novels."
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I tap into the short stories is because 9 times out of 10, the author will have control of those stories.
Yeah.
They'll put them in like little collections and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, you don't have to deal with like a bigger entity because, you know, we'd never be able to get, it would take a arm and a leg to get, what was it? Is it the Fifth King, the Broken Earth trilogy, any of
Yeah,
that stuff?
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
we
yeah.
can't get that. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is,
Understandable.
but
Totally.
a short story we can actually get. The other thing is that when you're adapting like a novel, a lot of the stuff you have to like curtail and like make smaller to even fit into a format. Like
Yeah.
you have to like to do Octavia Butler's work. Generally, like the novel itself is longer than the graphic novel pages, and once you pitch a story, you know, they're only going to give you so many pages to do it because they have to make money off the book. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing. So you have to sometimes truncate or condense pieces, or edit down the story to try to like keep the essence of the story. Whereas like with a short story, you can expand. You know,
Mm.
you can actually figure out
That's
ways to actually like really let the graphics tell a story. And so if you look at something like the keeper or after the rain, you can play around with the graphicness of the story a lot more.
Yeah.
I really feel proud of After the Rain because me and Brain really went in our bag to kind of think about what are ways for this story to actually sing as a graphic novel.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So we think about like what visual aspects of a graphic of the original story could translate. What are the themes? You know,
I
Yeah.
and
think that's the first one that comes to my mind because that has just that piece has me thinking of like two stories from Falling in Love with Hominids that I would love to see
let's
adapted. That
discuss.
would just
I mean,
go crazy.
we're already working with Nalo Hopkins, so you know that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we already working. We're just trying to, our artist has had a massive tragedy in his family in his life, so we're trying to.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. Stephen Bissett, who, as you know, used to draw Swamp Thing. Steve is like an older brother to me now. Honestly, I love him so much, and he's a brilliant uh, writer and creator on his own. He co-created John Constantine, for God's sake, with
Wow.
Alan Moore.
Nice.
Like he's legendary. He's a legendary illustrator. We're working on a book called Night Comes Walking. Um, and it's
Mm.
basically a historical fiction, supernatural, like murder mystery. It's kind of like a buddy cop story. The two main characters are Zerno Hurston and Eugene Bullard. You know, and
Mm.
yeah,
What
Zerno
are you
Hurston.
doing to me, John?
Yeah, I know. Zerno Hurston is a supernatural investigator in the story.
That
Oh,
makes
So
sense with her
so much.
anthropology.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also the fact that she trained as a conjure woman. She just studied it. She
Nice.
didn't. So, and Eugene Bullard is a legendary fighter. He was one of the first like black fighter pilots and stuff. Used to call him the Black Swallow of Death is what they called him. And yeah, and so the story takes place in the late 50s, like closer to the end of their lives. And they don't really like each other that much, but they basically so the story is like this. There's this rash of deaths at uh, these green book sites. So Victor Hugo Green is the one that calls her in to figure out what's going on with these debts at his green book sites because his whole thing is about safety, you know,
Right.
and,
Mhm.
and, and security, right? And so these mystical murders are happening at these green book sites. So they have to go on the road to try to figure out like what is happening. And I did the main plotting, and Nalo wrote an amazing script, and
Oh my god.
Steven is the artist on it. I'm the colorist. So I can send you. Have I not sent you like sample images of that? I will. Like remind me, I'll
Mm.
send you like sample images. But I'm so happy. Like the script is so good. Like Nalo wrote the hell out of the script. Like I said, Steven and his family had a massive tragedy, so he's been trying to get back, in the swing of things. But man, I can't wait to work on that book. But yeah, Night Comes Walking. It comes from like a Zora Hurston story poem, you know.
Yo, Zora Hurston's work is so good. One of my favorite short stories of hers is Sweat. I
Hmm.
love reading it. I love teaching it. It's one of my absolute favorites. That woman could write. And the way
Yeah,
she
yeah, yeah.
um so oh my goodness. Hold on.
I'm sorry, we went off on a lot of different things, but this is some of the tea, you know, as far as like trying to run some. I've lost so many books, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, Abrams is a big corporation, and sometimes they move a little slower. They move like you know, they're a speedboat. I mean, we're speedboats and they're ocean liner, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's books that I lost. Like there was a Justina Ireland book that I wanted to do that we lost, just because we couldn't move fast. It was like a urban fantasy book, you know. um,
That
you
would have
know, there's a
been
book with James Stoner, that I wanted to do, but we can't do, we just can't do it right now, so it's,
Justina
I love him.
Ireland is definitely an author that I would love to see you guys work with. Same with like Leslie Penelope. I feel like me and Keisha were just talking about her.
yes.
Yeah, so
Um,
I want to do something with um oh, what's the sister's name? She's dope. Young Nigerian American. She already has books with
Jordan Fuego?
yes,
No.
Jordan. If
Oh,
Fueko.
okay.
I was like, yeah. I was like, what she wants to get, what you want to get into, but she's already like with Abrams a little bit. So, and we're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Um,
Because her books are through
the short
Amulet.
stuff. Yeah.
I gotta do some stuff with Stephanie Williams. I don't know what it's gonna be yet.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
Miss
know.
Busy
She's
herself.
she's so
Period.
talented, and I
Yeah.
love, and she's, there's a book we're looking at, but I was like, I really want to do it, but it's like we gotta get stable and show that these books can actually like sell in the market.
Yeah.
But a lot of times too, though, and this is something I hate to talk about, but if you're a quote unquote mainstream person, doesn't see themselves reflected on the cover, you know, um, a lot of times, and I don't know why folk do this. It's difficult for some people to extend empathy to characters that are not them, you know. And like I
Mm.
said all the time, like you know, in my 55 years on the planet, I've extended myself to like a lot of characters that don't look like me. My favorite characters are white characters like, Captain America and like Sherlock Holmes and Doctor Who until fairly recently, you know, um, have been like characters who are not black characters or brown characters, and that to a certain degree isn't necessarily reciprocated in the market as much. And we don't talk about it as much as we need to. And it's a difficult problem.
Is
Um, Kids don't have it as much, as we get older though, you say, okay, well, that's not for me. I mean, one of my favorite characters is Wonder Woman coming up. You know what I'm saying? I love Wonder Woman. So, stuff like that. It's like I'm not a Amazonian princess.
Yes, you are, John.
Not that I know of, you know what I'm saying? But
I
and
mean,
so, I'm trying to create like spaces where we normalize these types of stories.
I was just about to
But,
say, like, what do you think would be a good way to do this? Like, to normalize that?
um,
Um,
I mean, it's difficult. I mean, you have to what's the saying? I'm trying to remember this the quote. To the privileged, equity feels like oppression.
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, to the privileged, equity feels like oppression. So I'm like, people don't want to share power. Like people are like, well, I'm not in this thing, so it's not for me. I even saw this thing around like Sinners, where like there was not like sympathetic white characters in the story, so people, didn't feel like it was for them. It was like,
But
you know,
Sinners is a prime example of that. There didn't have to be, and it still did incredibly well.
yeah, exactly. So,
Found their lane.
I'm just trying to figure out ways. It depends. It's a case by case basis.
Mm.
Um, I was thinking one of my favorite. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge like Police and Sting fan, right? And one of my favorite quotes from Sting is from this song called "All This Time." It's from one of his solo albums called "The Soul Cages." And
Mm.
this particular song lyric, he's like, "Men go crazy in congregations; they only get better one by one."
Ooh.
I love that.
That
And
yeah.
I love that because that's the case. I mean, you have to find it on your own. Like, groupthink is going to kill us. You know what I'm saying? The cult is going to kill us. But people come to realizations one book at a time, which is why there's an assault on literacy, why there's an assault on books. You know,
I
what I'm
was just
saying? That's the
talking about
thing
this on
because
the last
books
episode.
books give us a sense of empathy.
Yes,
I often say that they're empathy engines, actually. So
they
when I
are.
create a character like Ghostlight, I was trying to normalize, for instance, a totally different thing, normalize black families and normalize, black grief and black pain. Have to understand that like these characters are just like you.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's why I wrote it the way I did. So you know, so anyway,
Mm. We're
sorry.
gonna I mean, no, there's nothing you said that was incorrect. That's
Right.
all the way right. Eventually this country is going to have to face its history,
Mhm.
and come to terms with everything that's happened to get to this point and, figure out how we move forward in a way where everyone is uplifted, protected, has everything they
Yeah.
need,
I
you
mean,
know.
one of the biggest things is that we live in a capitalist society where our stories are fungible. Like we have to make money off the stories. You know what I'm saying? They're not oral traditions. We basically have figured out ways to commodify and codify stories and sell them, and that's a shame.
It is.
But that's where we are. Like because we put forth profit more than people. That's always going to be a problem. And not to get all
Mhm.
political about it, but art is political, and it is
It
inherently.
is.
If people say, "Oh, I'm apolitical," that's a political stance. Sorry.
It
you know?
is. It very much
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
frustrates me when people say that, because 'cause I'm like, we as individuals, our personhood is very political. Therefore,
Yeah.
anything we create by extension is political.
Exactly. And then
I
stating like, "Well, I'm not going to participate in that political
Mhm,
conversation" is also a political act. I'm sorry you're stuck with it. You know,
mhm.
because then you're actually like you not actually fighting against the status quo or fighting against a controlling or oppressive
Maintains it.
space. Maintains it exactly. And so, but I don't like to get into those types of conversations. I want to create books that cause discussion. I'm very Baldwinian about mine. Artists are here to disturb the peace. So let's look at how we can make a pink riot with these books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Y'all are my partners. So I really appreciate you so much for what you do. And I'm hoping that people listen to what you're saying about these books. You love books, and you love hard. So I really appreciate that. And I love too. Like I love my people hard. And I love these narratives more. A lot too. And I each one of these books is special. And hard fought. This is a brutal. It's a brutal medium to work in.
Yeah.
you know.
It
And once
is.
it chooses you, you're stuck with it. So let's make some noise with these books. Um,
Facts.
yeah, and the thing is that I love about it is people are still discovering the books. That's what I love about it too. Like people are still somewhere in the world, someone is listening to Prince for the first time or listening to Miles Davis. So like,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know, yeah, the first time,
Yeah.
that
Yes.
I'll
I
say
want to
that's
catch.
one of the fun things about us doing these Megascope interviews, like interviewing the different creators from the different titles and then seeing all of their like individual connections to the craft and to their stories, and even their like how they got connected with you stories have been like so bright and hopeful and encouraging. And then
Yes.
we get to see our audience, some of them, find out about these books for the first time or
Yeah,
engage with them for the first time. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really cool.
let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What types of books do y'all want to see us make?
How much time do you have, John?
Well, you're the one you're driving the freaking interview, Bree. I'm just kidding. Send me a list later. I don't know. We've been on for a second, but what are some of the things that you think we should be doing? That you want to see more of?
I got a
Yeah.
few ideas.
Right. Same. A lot of them have honestly like flowered from some of these interviews. Like,
Mhm.
they've all been great and we've learned something from all of them. But some of them like surprised me in a way. Like our interview with Hugo Canuto, like
That's my dude.
incredibly just
Yeah,
blown away by the sheer
amazing.
joy that he exudes in
He is
everything that
he
he
is
does.
he is like a shining, you know, he's like this beautiful like ice cream cone with legs. It's like I love ice cream. I love ice cream so much. It's like he brightens, like his energy is so beautiful, and he's such a talented human being, and the fact that it was such an honor to publish Tales from the Orishas. It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous book, and people
It
are still
is.
discovering it. And I want to do more work with Hugo. Actually, I consider him an ally and a friend. He's so. If we ever meet, we're gonna hug for like 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just like an
You got
old school like
invited.
George Jefferson hug, like an old school Jefferson's hug. Where you rock with it.
Here, yeah,
You
you
know
gotta
what
get
I'm
the
saying?
we definitely got invited to one of the festivals that like influenced him to write that. We were like,
Yeah.
listen, Pink Riot International, just to pull up on Hugo Canuto. Yes,
As
let's do
much
that.
as you travel, you need to go down to Brazil, have fun,
Period.
have that
I
have
know.
that
I know.
vacation where you're still looking
Yeah.
at the
I need to go to Brazil, and I need to go to Barbados. You know,
Yes.
Yes, Matthew
you
Clark
know,
and
Marky
Nigel
Clark and
Lynch.
them. Yeah, I love those guys. I love them so much. Hard Ears
Yeah.
is one of my favorite things on. It's like I've never seen anything like it. They're so talented and so generous and so gifted. Honestly,
Yes.
yo, and just so you know, like we needed a third colorist to finish Emmett Till on time. Guess who did it? Matthew Clark.
Matthew Clark, yeah.
Period.
Matthew Clark
Period.
colored so many pages so fast. I thought he was a damn app. It was crazy. I was like, wait a minute, how did you
That is
do that?
so awesome.
He was teaching and he was working like a he. We wouldn't have got it done when we needed a third colorist. And
Wow.
Mm,
so yeah, so I'm forever in his debt. I love the fact that they're putting the colorist name on the front, so they can see like on the front page, it's like these are the people that colored this book.
Yes,
And
as you
yes.
should.
Lena and, I think Hans, I think, or was it Franz, colored that guy the book. The production of these books is difficult. It's hard. The editors work like crazy to make them happen. The production, the designers. Andy, Andy, and I think Josh. I think is the the two folk who designed these books for us. So
Mhm.
they get assigned these books, and they have to do the problem solving to figure out how to make them beautiful.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, that's
yeah,
good context
Nice,
to have.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, even the creators of Hard Ears, hearing their like origin stories and their introduction to comics gave us like a whole new perspective. So I'm like, if Megascope could do like an around the world situation and get more of these perspectives
I
from
want that.
Yeah,
people
I
in
want
more
different
it.
places in the
within the
diaspora.
diaspora,
The
yep.
Yeah.
diaspora, exactly. So my whole thing with that is like, American audiences have to be ready to decenter themselves. You know what I'm saying?
That
That's
is
the thing. Is
true.
like, we're not the end all be all culture, obviously. You know,
Mhm.
um, are you ready to see? To are you? Is America ready to not see itself as the protagonist? You know,
That's fair.
Is-
You
in our
know
in our
what? I think with the current political landscape, we might we're already getting that hard lesson, like, if they haven't learned it already, like if they haven't learned it
I don't
already, like,
I don't know,
we
man. I mean, it's like, um we have to be ready to understand like these other stories, these other perspectives.
Mhm.
But also too, I mean, the other thing that we're fighting against is the drop in literacy in our country. Our attention spans have been like decimated by media, by social media. It's hard to get my students to read a graphic novel. I hate to say it. I love y'all, but they don't
A
want to read it.
graphic novel? I'm
A
Yeah.
sorry,
graphic
like,
novel, a graphic
I was
novel.
used I was using graphic novels in comics, like, when I was
Mhm.
teaching high school students. I was using that to get them to, like, you know, shift between panels and prose and all of that, like to build their stamina. You telling me like even that is
Even that is actually like debilitating a little bit, you know. So that's a thing. And then also too is like to do heavy lifting on like literature, you know what I'm saying? Like so we're used to like comics being like explosions and like fisticuffs and stuff like that. And that's fine and dandy, you know. But I want to try to elevate, the form to like think about it and from a literary standpoint, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
mm,
Literature challenges you. Literature actually deals with things about truth and history, you know. Literature actually tries to uplift the form. It is political by its very nature, you know.
yes.
It's in response to societal issues. It's not just like empty images that are just like muscle bound dudes and like women with like tiny snatch waists, you know. So I'm saying like that's an aspect of the form, you know, and it's dominating these
Mhm.
spaces, but it's not what it's for. If you want to treat this like a literary form, you have to step up. That's the other thing, you know.
This is
But
true.
people don't read. I mean, the book industry is like just dying. You know, not dying, but it's in trouble. You know, because they want instant gratification. They want those dopamine hits. You know, but to dig into a text, you have to
Mhm.
reread things. You have to actually be critical about it. You know, and I'm a teacher, and I still have issues like reading stuff like that. You know, but doing a close read like you guys do, you know, that's what elevates the form. I want people to you want an elevated audience. You know, I want a literate society. You know,
Yes,
so that's the thing is
absolutely.
like I want a literate society because that is what makes the society better, you know, a democratic, eh, which is why, of course, you want to destroy the school systems, which is why you want to, you know, hinder libraries. You want to like destroy arts programs, you know. I teach in the humanities. The humanities are the space that actually like gives you the empathetic like critical thinking skills to actually like understand this text, you know, from various
Yeah.
standpoints, you know. If you want people to be robots, then you take out literature, you take out the music, you destroy the dance, you destroy opera, you know, that kind of stuff. If you want people
Absolutely.
to be robots, if you want people to be like educated citizens that actually are critical about the government and about the things around them,
With empathy and
then you
yeah,
feed them
absolutely.
stories. Stories, you know, they connect us,
Yeah.
you know. So that's the thing. So these are the things that I try to fight against as an educator and a curator. And you know, I don't know what I'm hoping that I'm moving the needle, you know, but I'm looking for stories that are like fantastic, that actually like extremely um introspective and challenging and smart on various levels. I want the art to be like groundbreaking, you know, I want them to blow people's minds, you know, and to show them things that comics can't do anymore, you know, or haven't really done yet, you know. Um,
Mhm.
I don't want to see things that are regurgitated and are like easy,
Yeah.
you know. Life is hard. The fiction should make it should match it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want I
I
want I
get
want
it.
to I want to make books that make you think. I don't want airport reads. I want things that are like
Ooh.
that stick with you for forever. Like man, I wrote this book. I read this book 10 years ago. I can't stop thinking about it. That kind of thing.
Not
This
I
is
just read
true.
it to pass the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I want. Is that
Something
too
where
much
you
to
need
ask?
that second and third read, and you're always getting something different,
Yeah.
Yes,
when you're reading
exactly.
it.
So now we're talking. That's what literature is supposed to do. You know.
Well, we think you're accomplishing it, and you give us lots of food for thought and opportunities to spread our views on things. And yeah,
Yes.
it's definitely been illuminating to experience the Megascope titles and then revisit them together with someone who I
Yes.
love, and being able to like engage with the creators in a totally different way. Like you're all of the things you were just mentioning, you're doing it.
I
You're
hope
doing
so.
it,
Yeah.
doing
I
it,
hope
Yeah.
but
so.
and we're doing our
I mean,
best to like make sure
Shine a
that
light.
more people understand it and more people have access to it and all that sort of thing too. So
I appreciate it. I was just plugging my laptop back up, by the way. I'm sorry. I was trying to do it like in you know, but you can't find a damn plug when you're looking for it. So
of course not. It's all good. It's
I'm
all
sorry.
good.
all
But yeah,
that, right?
I don't know, man. I'm really grateful for your words, Bree and Keisha, and and I'm very grateful for Pink Riot and the type of work that you're trying to do out there in the world. You make it better, Um, I want to try to create. I want to try to continue making books that are challenging and beautiful, um, and that reshape the medium. I think we've been doing a good job with it, but I want people to see what we've been doing. That's the other thing. It's hard. It's hard. Making a book is one thing. You know, it's like does a
Getting people
tree
to see
does
it.
a tree if a tree falls in the wood and no one's there, does it make a sound? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like sometimes. It's like, here's a book, you know.
Oh, oh my God.
Here's a book. Do, 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 do. We put so much time into these books, and then when I need people to get behind them, some of these books take years to make. Time and effort and struggle, fights. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like a referee sometimes. I'm the
The way
middleman.
you said fights.
Right?
No, it's fights.
You were remembering something.
Seriously.
Right.
It's like, yo, it's like these things are not effortless. And I think
Yeah.
because that we are trained to be consumers, we don't think about the process to make these things. We just eat them like num num num
Oh,
num. What's
not at
next?
all. Yeah, not at
Yeah.
all.
Now I'm like,
I
yo, these things are difficult, and it's like,
Yeah.
I want you to try to do it. You try to make a damn comic book and see what happens.
I
Right.
So,
think that is one of the biggest things that came out of like this podcast, like in doing this with Brie, is getting to understand the work that it takes to put out a comic. Like even if it's just like a 32-page issue, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And to can't even fathom putting together like a 240-page graphic novel.
It's insane. Like the Kindred graphic novels, that was 800 pages of like individual art that I drew. 800
Wow.
over 800 images in that book,
Wow.
Oh,
Yep. By hand, And it's not even my best work. That's what's so crazy about it. It's like I couldn't even, it's not.
flex.
Right. That's casual flex. It's cool.
No, what I'm saying, no, I'm hating on my own work, like I'm just saying. It's brutal. It's like I'm like, people don't understand, like, we put our lives into these books and our bodies too. That's the other thing is that,
Bodies.
my shoulders, I still got Kindred shoulder. My shoulder don't never set right. You know what
You
I'm
say
saying?
Kendra shoulders?
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh
It's a
man.
thing. Like my shoulder is not gonna ever be not in pain, body, mind, and
Wow.
soul. Yeah, I hurt my shoulder making Kendrick. So, and I
You're gonna
often
have
remind Abrams of that.
Virgo stuff because I need you to
I'm
not
like, yo, like my body itself has been hurt, by these books. People have like so much time away from their families and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Mhm.
you have to lock in. And there's only I don't know how many more books I got in me at this age. You
That's
know what
why
I'm
we're
saying?
not trying to hear none of that, John. We're gonna get you some ergo stuff and you're gonna start delegating some stuff.
I have
Because
been. I
we
have
just
been.
talked about the first 5 and a little bit about the next 5, but we really need to think like globally about the next 25 so we can fully
Yeah.
accomplish
Mm.
the mission. You know what I'm saying?
People need to buy our books. They need to talk about our books. Even if they need to tell people what we're doing as wide as we can get it. And we also need to support Abrams. So they're making fantastic books. Yo,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
gonna I'm gonna move a little bit here because I want to show you what I just got in the mail. Oh my god! Oh, I'm in my kids' room, by the way.
I was just about to say, I
I'm
can't
on the
tell if
bed.
you were
Yeah, I'm on a bed. Like I'm right on a bed,
I was
sitting.
like, that's a big chair, but okay.
right.
No. It's not a chair. It's my kid's bed. He never sleeps in.
That track.
Look at this thing. You know what this is?
Hey, yes,
Right? The
yes.
elephant.
Pre-ordered.
Yeah.
It is pre-ordered. Don't play with me. Do
I'm
not
gonna play with you.
play with me.
This thing, I can just smell the ink on it. Charlie Koshman sent me that. Look at that. Look at that.
I am so jealous. Ooh, I'm
It's so
so
good. I was like, somebody love me.
Who was
Oh
just
my
talking to
God.
us
Look at
about
that.
that? Somebody else was talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, don't worry, babes. It's pre-ordered. Don't
Yeah.
even worry."
So John
Oh,
Byrne is
wow.
he's a wild man to even like do. This is John Byrne's fan fiction.
Right. That's why it's like,
I was like, what? What do you mean you've been drawing X-Men stories? This
just
is gonna be this is volume 1 of 3. They're gonna have 3 volumes of this.
Oh,
Have
I
you
didn't know
seen?
there was 3 of them.
No,
Golly.
this is yeah. It's gonna be 3 volumes of this.
It's
Chris
amazing.
Ryall is the editor on it, and I'm like, dude. So
Just
we need to
drool.
support Abrams so we can actually keep making books too. The
Yeah.
other thing is
Abrams has
Diary
some
of a
great titles in general.
Yeah, they
Like, you
really
had
but
do.
told
people need
me
to.
you had told me when I was doing my Frankenstein project about M for Monster.
Yeah, one of
That
my
one
former
is so
students.
good. It's so good. Oh,
They're one
you
of my former students at CCA.
wait,
So
word.
you look at like Alex Ross's new book, Dimensions. Have you seen that? Alex Ross Dimensions, the Marvel
Mm-mm.
book.
Mm-mm.
We gotta check that out.
It's not even right. I was like, so the thing is like our marketing person, Jack Cohen, she has to do all the marketing, all these books. So help spread the word. So make her load lighter. You know what I'm saying? Just tell people about the book. I'm like, people when I tell people that does an imprint like this, they're like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, yes. So, one of the next things I'm getting ready to do is I have a show that's opening at the Max in Mississippi uh, on Juneteenth. The Max is the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience. It is like the um, the Smithsonian of Mississippi. It basically celebrates the biggest and brightest like Mississippians who've changed culture, like people like Elvis Presley, who's from Mississippi, people like Jim Henson, who is from Mississippi, Oprah Winfrey, Charlie Pride, uh, John Grisham, you know, Kiese Layman, David Banner, you know, Big Crit, people like who lives in Meridian, who's from Meridian. So this place celebrates Mississippi artists and creators. Brandy Norwood, it's from Mississippi. Sam Cooke, or Ike
Mm.
Turner. Ike Turner, yeah. I know. I'm saying. I mean, the dude. I know, but he do change music. I know. But he did change music. So these people are celebrated. Bill Ferris, who I didn't even know who he was, and he's not one of my favorite people. To have a show at that space is such an honor. I was in tears looking at this place. I was like, "Oh my god, I get to have a show at this place," you know? Go look it up. Go look at it's like they took a Washington, like, Smithsonian, like, museum and put it in the middle of a sleepy Mississippi town. It's crazy. I'm like, "How is this possible?" So, yeah,
Incredible.
so I'm gonna be down there pushing Emmett Till and pushing the work we're doing. We're looking at it's called John Jennings Build Your World, and it's about world building and storytelling. So it's about the new book I'm trying to put together called Kenny Dreadful and the Hainted Hoodie, which is my first
Yeah.
which I'm hoping will get picked up soon. It's a kids graphic novel. Um,
The art you've shown for it is so awesome.
Thank
Um,
you. I'm working on the plot now. I'm trying to finish up the plot so I can get this thing pitched to them. There's
I would love
also
to see because I know there's also, like, autistic representation in
Yeah,
there
my
and
son has autism and is neurodivergent, and the main character is probably I think the main character probably has something like ADHD with some autism spiciness in there. Yeah, because of representation. The other thing is the Ghostlight story is being because it was interesting, like working with Marvel as an entity to do this story. Blue Hand
Mhm.
Mojo is also featured, and also Kindred. So those are the four components to the show. You know, so they have original
Nice.
art from Kindred in the show, and also stuff, digital projections and movies and stuff like that. It's gonna be up to like March 2027. And yeah, and I'm gonna be going back down for the Mississippi Book Festival in September. So, we're trying to keep it moving.
Very cool. I
That's
know this isn't
yeah.
comic centric, but one question that I really wanted to ask you is okay, so Octavia Butler's book Survivor is getting a reprint. And I know Keisha's stance on this, but I'm curious to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the Survivor reprint?
I will say this. I think that Survivor, if people want to buy it and support it, fine.
Mhm.
I'm of the opinion that because she's a venerated ancestor, because we love her so much, that we should adhere to what she wanted. People have asked us if we would ever do like Parable of the Trickster, for instance, because there's enough of it that we could probably finish it. And we said no, because she did not think that it was good enough to be published, right?
Mm.
It is not our place to try to finish it, because guess what? We are not Octavia Butler. We are not her, right? So whatever we did would be a diluted mishmash of what we think that she would want.
Yeah.
So I don't want her, I don't want to ever betray her vision, you know, or undermine her the way that she wrote, because the way that she wrote was brilliant, you know what I'm saying? And she gave us so much. So we're trying to like, well, I want more. I was like, well, this is all it is.
This is what you have.
This is what you have, you know?
Yeah.
And she gave us so much in a small amount of time, and she left us too soon. And that is heartbreaking and sad, but it also, like, you know, her work has changed the world. So leave it alone, you know. Let's study what we have. But that's how I feel about it. You asked me, that's how I feel about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. You're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you so much for taking the time to come and kiki with us and celebrate 5 years of Megascope. We're going to keep the thing going. We got so many more creator interviews.
Yes, I'm going to try to help y'all like pin these people down. I also want to say that another new member of our board, Ebony Toussaint, actually got us a Megascope panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
It'll be a 5th anniversary panel. We've never done a Megascope panel at San Diego Comic-Con, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. She's about it. She don't play about Megascope like y'all don't play about Megascope, you know. And that's what we need. We need diehard people who are out there like, yo, you need to talk about these books immediately, you know.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you, Ebony. So yeah.
Love it. Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming through and talking Megascope with us. We can't wait to have more of these interviews. And obviously, you know, we already called you Unc. That's the energy. That's the vibes. We got to have you back. But once we get on the other side of the current interviews, hopefully we'll have more people to add to that list so we can keep the energy going. But yeah, it's been awesome, and we're truly blessed to count you as a friend / Unc.
Thank you.
I definitely found more. All right, how many variants are there?
11.
Damn. Go ahead. No.